This is the story of the Blue-Eyed Six, a group of 6 men who took out a life insurance policy on a man, then murdered him a few months later. The northern tip of Lebanon County has always been a relatively peaceful region here in the Keystone State. In 1878, however, one of the most infamous murders of the 19th century took place here. The media buzz that followed made this isolated area become known worldwide. It all started in the summer of 1878 in the former village of St. Joseph Spring. This was located about 2 miles northwest of the modern-day Fort Indian Town Gap. 4 men living in this poverty-stricken region planned to take out life insurance policies on Joseph Raber, a heavy-drinking, reclusive man in his 60s who had been living in a hut in the Blue Mountains. Israel Brandt, Josiah Hummel, Henry Wise, and George Zeckman all took out life insurance policies and promised to take care of Raber in his old age, but the 4 men hoped that his death was imminent. After months of paying insurance assessments, these 4 men could just no longer afford to keep Joseph Raber alive. After failing to formulate the best way to murder Raber, the 4 men concluded that they simply could not do it themselves. Israel Brandt approached his neighbor, Charles Drews, to commit the murder for a share of the insurance payout after the deed was done. Drews employed the help of Frank Stickler, a local thief, and the pair quickly planned to take out Raber. On December 7, 1878, Drews and Stickler decided to take Raber to the nearby Indiantown Creek after a day of drinking and drown him. Directly after the murder, Israel Brandt traveled to Lebanon to alert the coroner that Joseph Raber had drowned in the Indiantown Creek. When the coroner arrived, he examined the body and discovered no bruising or marks. The jury was convened and rendered a verdict of accidental drowning. The verdict, however, was not at all satisfactory, and when it was learned that thousands of dollars of life insurance was held on the old man's life, suspicions of foul play at once arose. Local papers soon reported on this mysterious murder, and thorough investigations made the truth much clearer. In February of 1879, Charles Drew's son-in-law, a young soldier named Joseph Peters, reported to the constable that he was offered cash by Drews to help murder Raber. He also reported that he was an eyewitness to the murder, seeing Raber cross a footbridge with Drews and Stickler that day. All 6 men were arrested and held in the old Lebanon County Jail until trial. It was at this time that the name Blue-Eyed Six appeared in local papers. This was because all 6 men coincidentally had blue eyes. The trial was opened on April 18, 1879, in the Lebanon County Courthouse, and all 6 men were tried together. For a week, the trial was covered heavily by news outlets and quickly had global recognition. On April 24, 1879, Brandt, Drews, Hummel, Stickler, and Wise all ended up confessing and were given guilty verdicts on the charge of first-degree murder. Zeckman was granted a retrial and was found not guilty after convincing the court that he was an investor that had no knowledge of the murder conspiracy. Other members of the Blue-Eyed Six would later confess that Zeckman was actually a conspirator. Drews and Stickler, the ones that were hired to do the killing, were the first to be hanged on November 14, 1879. Brandt, Hummel, and Wise were also hanged May 13, 1880. All 5 of these hangings took place at the Lebanon County Prison, and all 5 men are buried throughout Lebanon County. The grave of Frank Stickler is less than a mile from where the murder took place and can be seen from McLean Road. George Zeckman would pass away naturally a few years later, and a sense of justice was finally felt in Lebanon County. This was a pioneer case of life insurance fraud in America. To take out a policy on someone today, you need to have a financial stake in their death, also known as an insurable interest. Back then, you could take out a policy on anyone, at any time, for any reason. Reforms were introduced soon after this case, and new insurance practices were molded to prevent a Blue-Eyed Six incident from happening ever again. The story of the Blue-Eyed Six has left an extensive cultural legacy. There have been documentaries, novels, and other creative works retelling this unique tale. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, British crime fiction author, was inspired by the Blue-Eyed Six epithet for his Sherlock Holmes short story, The Red-Headed League. This story, published in the UK in 1891, even includes a character from Lebanon, PA. Venturing to the former St. Joseph Spring, a historical marker retells this story. The area is surrounded by the military grounds at Fort Indiantown Gap. There is, however, a small church nestled in the woods there. This old church, the Moonshine United Zion Church, is actually home to the grave of poor old Joseph Raber. His tombstone reads, "Joseph Raber, victim of the Blue-Eyed Six." For Lancaster Online, I'm Tyler Huber.